What's up, guys? What's up, Everadic? Good to see you. Let me get some water real quick and then we're gonna get started. 1 second. Also, again with the Dacia Logan, jeez. Goofy. Either way, good to see you, Everett, and good to see you, Safari. 1 second, I'm getting my my stuff up. We'll save us all, nah, dog. I wouldn't say all that. Alright. Hello, everyone. Hello. How are we doing today? Very different. Still tweaking my layout a little bit. How's you doing? I'm doing alright. Doing good. Just gonna do a little bit of art concepting. Last time we we got some features working. So what was the big thing? Ugh, Unity. I'm gonna get rid of you one day. We had the wall jumping, or the ledge grabbing, working pretty good. We gutted wall jumping and then replaced it for ledge grabbing instead. And then we made a little sprite animation, I think. And then off screen, I think I animated the side profile. So I could keep working on that, but I kind of feel tempted to start working on concepting some ideas, both for Messy Mansion and also maybe even for the stream layout. It's been a while since I've done some changes. I actually got a GIF of the old stream layout and I'm just using that right now, just because I thought it actually still looked pretty cool. So I'm not sure. Maybe we'll do something with that, maybe we won't. I don't know. Oh, so let me get the camera working, I think. 1 second. 1 second while we get Unity loading. There we go. There we go. Hello. How are we doing today? How are we doing today? Yeah, I guess a brief little catch up though. It's kind of goofy going back. Not goofy. It's just an interesting kind of situation to be in, to receive all this feedback from Newgrounds, and then going back to basics instead of trying to crack. Like, for that week of trying to get this game out, it was just get something out, get the thing out, just focus on the end product. Don't care about, or not the end product, but just focus on getting content in. Don't worry about it being good. So it's nice having this period where there's no pressure, there's no crunching, and I can start going back to the basics and making sure things are done right. And it's also nice having an environment that isn't like super heavy with a bunch of different assets. But yeah, we have wall grabbing, crazy. And I have a side animation of it as well. And I think in general, I want to have the player be more animated instead of these static sprites. So we're gonna go through a lot of stuff and just make things good, man. Make this game good. Have the player movement stuff feel good. I haven't animated this side nor this side, so it's a bit goofy, but it's alright. We'll get there eventually. We'll get there eventually. And I don't think I've added any ledge grabs on there. Yeah. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. Ooh. And there's some interesting bugs like this. Yeah. Interesting, fun little bugs like this that I'm gonna have to iron out. Not today though. I don't think we're gonna do coding today. Oh, maybe we are. I can't escape coding. Coding is something I can't ever fully escape now, can I? But I think it's worth taking a step back and be like, alright. There's like 2 categories of problems with the game. Not with games, I mean like with working on games, right? There's like the concrete problems that are immediately actionable. This is not like technical terms, this is stuff I'm coming with. This is the way I think about it. There's like the technical stuff, right? That's just something you have to do. There's no design questions about it. It's just, there's a problem, you gotta fix it, alright? 2 plus 2 does not equal 4 for some reason. It's equaling 5. We have to fix that. So that's not really like in a conceptual area. It's much more of just hard technical problems. But then there's the other side of the code of this project or any game you're working on. That's like the conceptual side, the idea side, the direction. So this can be like the environment, the story, things like that. Who are the characters? What do they look like? If you're using the MAD, so there's an idea called MAD. It's an acronym in game design, where you have mechanics, you have aesthetics, which encompasses the things I described, narrative, art, that sort of thing, and then you have the dynamics. So you can think about this side as being kind of like the aesthetics, right? So there's always gonna be stuff to do here. You can always make your code much more robust. You can always make things more better, perfecter. So I find myself always working in this area, and I kind of neglect this. I always kind of neglect the conceptual, or I guess the aesthetic. So today we're gonna be taking a little break and actually work in the aesthetic and just explore stuff. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. That's the gist of what's on my mind. So I think it's just a matter of getting there and getting in there and getting it done right? So I think something I want to concept out of some different environments. I want to start concepting the hub world. The hub world. Because there's a change in the design of the game. Or maybe not a change, it's actually returning back to where we were. Initially, we had the idea of a hub and then a bunch of levels that you can go to from that hub. But this is all done through like UI and whatever. So it's just one room that has UI that lets you go to whatever levels. And then we changed it for low poly day to be just one world you're in, and then you're trying to figure out, take a path around, and then eventually get to the end of the game. Which is fine for a high demanding deadline. It worked, I think, for the most part. But now that we have extra time to go back and do this and do it right, I'm gonna go back to the idea of a hub world. But instead of it just being like one room, I actually want it to be a physical space that you occupy, and each level is a door you can go through that takes you to a place. And that's how you go to levels. So no UI, it's very diegetic. You just go to a door and it takes you to whatever world you're going to, right? So yeah, I think it's time for us to begin thinking and concepting out the aesthetics of this game. Yeah, it's crazy. I like I said, the decision to do low poly day was like the week before the deadline, and I was just focused on technical stuff up to that point. So that week we had to make, I think even the last 2 days is when I made the decisions on story and on narrative, which was probably not great, but whatever. It's amazing when you have a time pressure, all of a sudden these creative decisions become clear. But anyways, we don't have that anymore, so let's start exploring a little bit about this game, this world we're creating, and this environment. And I think initially I was going for a more rustic kind of looking thing. Like, you can look at the old screenshots where we had this environment that was very much a like a guild hall in an MMO or something, where tables there, and it seemed very public, and you had this board here that had a bunch of papers, and there were like job postings. So it was very much going for RPG kind of vibe feel. And then you had like the secretary lady who's there that you dealt with. That's cool, that's fine. But I'm not sure how I feel about this anymore. I think I want to lean away from the more JRPG aspects. Because even though we have like, it has kind of a RPG-ish kind of presentation. Like, if you weren't playing the game, if you just look at it, it's like, oh, that kind of looks RPG-ish. But the actual gameplay, I think, is more focused on the world and the idea of like space. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to focus on. I think that's going to be our biggest emphasis. It's going to be space, and I want areas to be interesting visually to whoever is exploring it. So I went away from that, and now I'm thinking more of having, because I kind of like how Ape Escape does things, even though it's not really diegetic. It's kind of, in Ape Escape, you have this level you spawn into, and then you can move physically here, and there's like a level select thing. Like, it's a platform, and it's level select, and you can go to choose your world from there, and then if you want, you can go here and save your game, and then you can go over here and do stuff. So it's still kind of diegetic, but you're still mainly interacting with UI. I want to not have UI as much as possible. So the level for the hub world has to be a bit more expansive. We need some more space to be able to do the things we want to do. And if we say we're going to have like 9 levels, which I think I'm going to go back to that. I like the idea of one big world. But I don't think that can't be the game. So I think we're going to have some smaller worlds that build up to bigger worlds. So we can kind of ease people into it. So like the world we played in, or you guys played in, or whoever played in the Newgrounds version of the game, the prototype. That, are we still on front? We're not front page anymore, I don't think. Oh my goodness, can you please scroll? You're killing me. Yeah, we have to go over here. So yeah, the version of the game here is kind of big and kind of requires you to know a lot of things about the world, or at least about the game mechanics. So I think instead of dumping people to that kind of level, I'd rather have it be ramped up a little bit, where we have like smaller levels that slowly bring people up towards that, so we can teach specific mechanics and different tools and whatever, and then they're ready for that. And then each world's gonna have their own unique thing that's tied to it. It's either that, or you can go like 64 kind of style, where it's like, hey, no, just, you know, worlds are just kind of expansive. But no, I think I'm gonna keep it like this. I think we're gonna keep it like this, and I just have to think about different ways of spicing this up. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, so hub world. So I'm kind of thinking about this idea of having like a little big world. I've always liked that idea, and I think it's gonna add way more character to the environments. So I kind of like the idea of having big objects be super duper, like normal everyday objects being super duper big. So I think it's gonna make everyday like all the worlds a bit more distinct if they're based off of like real things, but like real pictures of reality, but sized up and populated. I know I said I don't like the idea of UI, but if we need to do like a self-contained thing instead of having like a hub world, you could do something like this. Like it'd be kind of cool if like the dial of the TV is like mapped to like a level, and then there's just someone who's like pulling this, or like there's a pulley system to rotate the knob of the TV around a little bit. And that's how you, and then like you walk into there. Like that's kind of cool, cause you see like a preview of the world in this kind of way. Yeah, I like the idea of like a little big world type thing. Maybe have it multi-layered, I don't know. Second, let me move this over here. I think I might change the music. We'll see. Honestly, like this is kind of giving me more ideas to work with. I don't know, I'm kind of torn. This is kind of like pivotal to the game in a lot of ways. I just have to make in my mind if he's using a broom or a mop. Cause I've been super duper not clear on that at all in my sprites. I need to work on that. I should probably work on like an HD sprite of him, honestly. I like this idea. I actually kind of like the idea. Like these little entities that exist in the world who are fighting, like wrestling these things that we don't see or understand, but nonetheless impact us in some way. I mean, this looks like a microwave, but hope you get the idea. It's like the hub world can be like someone's room or something. I kind of like this idea more of like having the TV be the centralized thing. Because yes, it's not diegetic, sure. It kind of sucks that there's no hub world that you're expanding or changing. But if we go with the idea of like, hey, this TV is like this portal, I don't know, maybe the door idea could still work fine, actually. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with this. I guess maybe reserve the TV for like other things, like if you want to check your progress or like things that require some kind of UI, then like the TV is where you go to for that kind of thing. I kind of like this idea though. It makes me want to take like some photography of everyday environments, so we can like. There's an artist who does that kind of thing where he takes a picture of like everyday environments and then populates them with, makes like a little world onto that environment. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let's see if I can find him. 1 second. Let's see if I can find him. I know you're here in my favorites somewhere or bookmarks. Let me try to find him real quick. Can't find him. I don't see the guy anywhere. I guess not. Come on, I know I've... Oh, here we go. Mini universe. This guy. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This idea of taking Where is it? Here we go. You took a picture of these pipes, but from there you kind of constructed this whole world off of that, while still integrating the base. Love it. I need to do that. Maybe I gotta do that. I think this might be the direction I go for with this. It's gonna require actual 3D environments though. It's gonna require actual like 3D models with proper textures, not just triplanar crap. Triplanar is cool for super simple things, but oh, there's like a Pringles can here. And at the end is like a door. That's kind of a cool idea. And then like, as far as TV UI is concerned, we can have it be the camera focuses in on it, and there's a specific UI there for saving and options. Like we do all that stuff here in TV. Yeah, I think that's a move. I'm liking this more and more, honestly. But it feels like to achieve what I want to achieve, like the art is gonna have to change, and using the rendering pipeline has become a liability at this point instead of a boon. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe we can still achieve this with the PS1 low poly look. In fact, I'm pretty sure we can still achieve this. But it does change the way I go about designing levels now, because now instead of just having, like, I'd have to be thoughtful about, if we have levels be based in like the world and then there's real objects composing all this stuff, then we can't just have this be whatever objects. Like I can't just make this arbitrary concrete slabs. Like I'd probably have to think about what these things are going to be now instead of just abstract environments. Yep. It feels weird not to have the wall jump anymore. I still have to animate this side too. Looks kind of weird. I should probably have it snap. Okay, one second. This might be a quick fix. This might be a quick fix, actually. Famous last words. Why is my writer install so weird? Okay. Jump module is the place I want to go to. So what do we do here? Do we... Ledge grab behavior. So this is when we grab the ledge. So we have to reposition the player. Okay, we do the ray cast here. It's gonna be, where do we calculate this? We calculate it here in ledge normal. Ledge normal. And the origin point's gonna be player.transform, position, and then we do ray, physics, dot raycast, ray, okay, and then we out hit position. I think I'm gonna change music a little bit here. Done there. Let me switch to some Fruitiger Arrow music. I kind of like the TV idea because it's like, if you go into a TV, it's reasonable to think that you're just being teleported to a new world. I don't know, maybe the doors work as well the same way though. Hit. What are we gonna do? Position equals hit dot point plus ledge normal times, I don't know, is it 0.5, I think? So it's like snapped. Oh. There's something to do here too. I want to set the Y to be a consistent position. So we're going to do, I think, player.transform.position.override Y is going to be collider.transform.position.Y. That's what I'm saying, like, it's so easy to get suckered into technical stuff. Cause it's like it's very direct, like I know what I need to do in all these cases. Oh, this actually looks pretty good. This actually looks pretty good, actually. I'm concerned, this looks almost too good. Okay, no, that one's kind of garbage. And it's not overriding the Y position. That's weird. Yeah, like right there. That's not right. That should not be variable. Unless this isn't actually hitting. The way is. Alright, we're gonna finish the technical stuff real quick. I just think it's a very quick, easy fix, and then I'm gonna go back to concepting. Or sketching real quick. I have to revise the light model too, but we'll do that later. Yeah, the ledge hang looks good. I don't like that stuttering though, with the camera. But I don't like this either. It's not behaving the way I want to. Okay, maybe it's not as easy to fix as I thought it would be. Yeah, I really don't like this at all. Really am not liking this. Okay, we're just gonna do this cool little thing where we comment out the code, and life is good. And we'll do that, fix that later. Very cool. Okay. 10 p.m. already. Okay, let's go back to sketching though. I'm liking these two things are kind of cool, like the idea of, hey, I just started planning out the cozy console a little bit. Yeah, the idea of like wasteland, cozy hub. I can't make this game take a wholesome look. Where it's like you go into this TV, there's people who are like in the staying state, and then you grab them, you clean them up, and you bring them back, and now you have friends to hang out here with. And like the amount of people who hang out here is like the progress you've made in the game. That's kind of sick. I kind of like the idea a lot, actually. Player, friends, to world. What's up? Thinking about entering the music contest this year? Oh, heck nah. Heck nah. I was thinking about it a little bit actually, but I was like, that's a lot. I think once I get a game out, I mean, this game, like, once I get a game out, I'm gonna take time to do some music stuff again and go back to the comp. But after like the feedback from Newgrounds, from the prototype of the game, I'm like, all right, we have a lot of homework to do. There's a lot of homework to do on Stain World or Messy Mansion, or still have to figure out the name. Yeah, a lot of feedback. A lot of feedback. What about it's only 2 rounds? Newgrounds underdog audio competition? Maybe that'd be worth doing, honestly. If it's only 2 rounds, I can live with that, maybe. Besides, I think the music, I'm gonna take a different direction with this game, so maybe that might be a good opportunity to change directions. I don't know, that's actually interesting. That proposition does kind of interest me. Oh my goodness. Do want to be safe though. I don't want to burn myself out like last time. I need to check it out actually. Newgrounds. Audio trial deadline July 3rd. Kind of. It was very mixed. It was very mixed. Like I think the game, I think in some sense it's kind of polarizing easily, and it's more casual atmosphere. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I'm considering it, because it gives me like an opportunity to like actually work on music, just focus on music for the game instead of like having music be this thing I do offhanded. Yeah, I always love I got this feedback and it reminded me of when I first started posting on Newgrounds and people hated my music. Good times. That was nostalgic. But yeah, no, there's what I think, the way I picture it, so like, let's say there's a scorer, right? There's two scores, and the aggregate, the average is like, let's say 3 stars, let's say. 3 stars for these two scores, right? Well, there's one possibility. There's that's like this, where it's, hey, you know, this is 1 star and this is 5 star, and then like the average amount of people kind of just end up here, right? And this is just kind of the more accurate assessment of your work. And I think the other option is this, where it's more polarized, where people either really like it or people really hate it. And this and then the average still equates to the same value of like 3. And the game, I feel like my game, it's not exactly this. I think it's a fusion of it, but I think it's this is kind of the situation for a lot more people. Because this game is very intentionally kind of ambiguous and doesn't give you direction and doesn't explain things to you. And I think a lot of people, there's some people who really like that, but then there's people who don't like that. And then there's also an issue where there's important toolkits to a player that I don't communicate to them explicitly, because I'm like, they'll figure it out. And it turns out some people don't, and because they don't figure that out, it greatly hinders their play experience. So like, one simple example of that, one second, let me just, can I have my controller? Yes, I like having my controller available to me. Why is, whatever, one second. I can't see stuff. Vote through on everything just for voting. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, one thing, so this is an example, right? And I saw this from playtesting, like in person with people after I published it. Alright, whatever, we get this, yep. And then we go over here. So you see this, and there's people who go, oh, you have to swing to clean this up, and this is how you progress through the game. This is how you interact with this. And they don't realize that you can just walk over this. And all of a sudden, because they don't know that, playing the game becomes so much more tedious because they didn't know that it's a thing. So something that should have taken like a pretty quick amount of time to clean up becomes kind of an ordeal. So that's like one example of things, because I didn't communicate certain lessons to the player, things become worse for them, right? But like, there's a bunch of other cases like that where, for example, there's the idea of, hey, you can jump further if you dash, jump, and then dash again. But some people may not know that. Or that wall jump's a thing. But perhaps it's also not great to handle the player through every detail. It's nice leaving some mechanics to discovery. Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. I am going to try to tutorialize some stuff because I need people to know certain things to engage with it. But there's a really there's like a wrong way to tutorialize things and there's a right way to tutorialize things. And oh my goodness, okay, that scared me. There's like a, let me find it, Edmund McMillan game design. If you've never watched the game design, the indie game, the documentary. Yeah, here we go. There's a cool scene where you see Ed talking about the making of how he designed Super Meat Boy, and like I'm gonna play this. It's a short clip
of the game. So every level in the first chapter needs to have some example. So the basic formulas of level design go: when you start out, you want to teach the player how to play. You need to make sure that they understand every mechanic of the game. So every level in the first chapter needs to have some example forcing the player to do something in order to beat the level that they will need further in the game. So like there's a level, I think level 3, that is just a gap. And the only way to get over that gap is to hold down run and jump. You can't get it any other way. You can't just keep jumping around. You won't jump far enough. And that's to make sure that the player understands that in order to get over far gaps that you need to press and hold the run button and jump across it. It's simple. It sounds like a no-brainer, but it's something that usually in games it would just say, hold run to jump far. Most people will just skip the text and they will forget. Now, just in case somebody...
So you get the gist, right? So for a lot of these different lessons that that the player should have in their toolkit, I'm not going to try to super handhold them through that, but at the very least I want to have something that obstacles that force them to learn that in some way on their own, so that it sticks with them. They have the understanding of, oh, I figured this out, sweet. And if you go through that process of solving that little puzzle that you're facing, it kind of sticks with you much more permanently. So like, yeah. And that's something you brought up as well, is that like, if we go back to this graph, let's say I take this feedback and I try to appease the people who negatively rated the game, right? Take what they said to account, try to handhold them a little bit more and give some guidance. Well, maybe that might help some people here, but it could also diminish the experience for some people over here as well. So that's something I'm kind of wrestling with balancing, equipping the player with the tools they need to be able to enjoy the experience, but also still leave that joy of discovery and kind of, of self-sufficiency intact, so that the world doesn't feel solved for them. It's still something that they have to kind of figure out on their own. I guess in a different analogy, I want them to learn the language, but they still have to figure out, how to talk to people, how to have a conversation. But yeah, that's like some of the gist. And there's more issues like that where there's disconnect. On one kind of audience makes it ideal for the experience for them. What about focusing on one kind of audience, making it the ideal experience for them? Maybe. That's something I'm kind of wrestling with. I think I just need more information, right? Because I really don't know. Like, the thing is, the people who dislike the game are pretty vocal. I see that they're very... Like, if I go by the comments, I would think that most people dislike the game or don't see, like, positives in it, right? But the weird thing is that despite getting, like, kind of negative stuff, or at least, like, largely mixed reviews, it's like, there literally has to be still a significant amount of people who are positively rating this game. So... But I'm not hearing for them, so I don't know what this audience looks like and what part of this experience they're enjoying. And that's kind of like the standard thing when it comes to any public work, is that the people who are going to be very vocal are the people who dislike it, right? So there's an audience of people who enjoy the game for what it is, as it is. I just don't know nothing about them. So I'm thinking about this. Right now, this week, I'm kind of taking it to investigate and at least clear up some things that I know need to be changed. But the other things, in terms of the general direction of this ship, there are some things that are still kind of up in the air for me. Like the idea of, hey, do I want to have one unified world or have it be broken up? I started thinking about breaking the level up into to smaller bits and pieces, and then build up towards bigger levels that are kind of more of a open world for you to kind of solve and untangle. Just because I feel the cleanup mechanic becomes much more important in this circumstance. A near 4 rating with 4 is quite good, indicating mostly likes. 5s, I think. Well, that's on one. I'm thinking like I'm like, I know there has to be quite a lot of people who are enjoying it. So I just don't know much about it, right? So I don't know. I have to. I don't know. I'm thinking about this. Last week I took a step away from work on the game entirely. This week I'm kind of starting to get back into the saddle and make some changes. And also just figure out what direction the ship is going in. We'll see. So in reference to what inspired this game was a game called Babdi, if you ever heard of it. And that game is very much like, what's going on here? Why is Big Picture launched? 1 second. Can we please exit? I'd like to exit out of Big Picture mode. No, I don't want to launch a sprite, please. Exit Big Picture mode. Thank you, Steam. Let me see, go find it for you. Did show their support through favorites. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's the one growing concern is because I started making changes to kind of address feedback from people, but now that I'm thinking about it, like, what these changes may very well damage the experience for other people who would have liked what I was trying to do. 1 second, where's Babdi? Anyways, Babdi, here we go. So this game, if people didn't like how directionless my game was, I'm not sure how they would enjoy this game. So the game just throws you into this environment. And there is a story. It's just super duper simplified. It's super simple. It's just three beats. And yeah, like you only have to go from point A to point B and then point A. But there's this humongous world that's just there for you to just play around with. And there's nothing that crazy. And yet I found that experience to be really just kind of ingrained into my brain. This game that seems very simple is still for some reason like wormed its way into my brain where I still had dreams about it. It's kind of dumb too. Anyways, yeah, so like this is my reference point for what I was trying to do, or something that at the very least inspired me with this game. A big key difference though is that this game doesn't really have a essential, like it has a mechanic, right, which is the fact that you can pick up items and you can use them for different purposes. Each item usually has one purpose. Or if you glitch the game like I did here, I can have 2 items. A trumpet for I don't know, emotional support, and then a flashlight so you can see in the dark. But the game, our game, Stain World or Messy Mansion, has this essential mechanic of cleaning and dirtying stuff, and I think there's something interesting to be explored there. But in its current iteration, it's not very meaningful as a mechanic. Like there is some meaning. It does things in the world, right? Like by cleaning, you can discover things that are hidden in the dirt that were lost in there. So for example, you can go to an area here, and oh snap, there's like a note somewhere here. And if you clean up enough, you might get it, and bam. And all of a sudden, now you have access to this new narrative information. So cool, you uncovered something. And then there's other things tied to that where some places are kind of locked away, but I think there should be greater mechanical significance to this cleaning mechanic. But because of how wonky this is, it kind of requires a controlled environment to be able to present things right. I don't know, things to meditate or think about. I'll try the game soon. Yeah, sure thing. And let me know what you think, man. Always open for feedback. Oh yeah, and one specific thing, if you do play it, or when you do play it, people complain about the controls consistently, even the people who do like it. But they don't say what controls, if it's the keyboard controls or if it's the gamepad, and what specifically is bad about it. Maybe it's even a glitch, because that's a thing that happens because of Unity. Either way, let me know what you think about the controls at the very least. And if you're using keyboard or a game controller or whatever, because that's 100%, no matter who you are, that needs to be tight. The game controllers have to feel good. So, yeah, that would be helpful. Anyways, Everadic, get some rest, sleep. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate. And maybe I will actually enter the audio competition for Newgrounds. Because I think there is some. I think I need to do some music. Like, just focus on making some good music as opposed to just cranking something out for a game. Either way, you have a good one, man. And honestly, I might just end stream soon too. I didn't want it to be too long today. Yeah, we're at an hour, so maybe I just end the stream here. Either way, appreciate it. You guys have a good one. Night night. Cool. Need a competition like you to keep me. Cool. Need competition like you to keep me motivated. Hey, if you're entering, that's cool. That'll be cool. That'll be crazy to compete against you. All right. I'll catch you later. Night.